Everyone, welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, the panacea for all of our problems, individual and collective. It's time to find people who are coming into power and giving them Prabhupada's books, preferably sets, Bhagavatams, Caitanya-caritämrtas. I'm sure my best friend, Vaisheshika Prabhu, has already got a plan to do that. And so many people are in distress, and although there's lockdowns and there's people who are rebelling against the lockdowns in so many different ways, not even wanting to wear a mask to protect themselves and others. So many conspiracy theories floating around, being accepted as true. It says in Bhagavatam that the four pillars of spiritual life, truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, and austerity, they're practically gone in Kali Yuga except for truth. That's the last leg of Dharma. And now it's going. You can see it. You can see it. So this is as Prabhupada used to tell us, this is the only panacea. It's the only hope for the world. And in the future, historians will show how the Hare Krishna movement was influential in helping the world in its darkest hour. And it's coming to dark hours now. So let us lift our heads high and look and hear clearly the truth spoken by a person who is pure. Okay, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, our dearly beloved Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, had this poetic glorification of the Caitanya-caritämrta, which we're reading from now. He said, in due course, Mahäprabhu, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after the flood has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So, here we are. Oh, I thought we were. We've reached the 20th chapter of the Madhya-lila of Caitanya-caritämrta. Whoops. My computer's been acting a little strange since I did the update of the latest iteration. There it is. And it's not acting properly. Wow. Well, what to do then? There. It's not acting properly. my program. This is not very good. Better get it fixed. Oh, I see. There was more than one thing open. Sorry. The program is not responding. To return to Windows and check the status of the program, check Cancel. If you choose to end the program immediately, you will lose any unsaved data. To end the program now, click Now. Well, I can check. Excuse me, a momentary technical problem. Okay. Now. Restart. This will take a minute because my program has to restart. So hand me the iPad. Yeah. Sorry for this momentary delay, everyone. We will back up we have a little backup here. Caitanya-caritämrta, Madhya-lila, chapter 20, text 3:12. Excuse me for this, a rare event. $3.12. Okay. Okay. So Lord Chaitanya is explaining everything to Sanatana Goswami, and he just analyzed the different forms of Krishna and his incarnations, and he went into the material creation, and we're right in the middle of the whole thing, the whole program. Starting with 3:12. The truth about Lord Shiva is that he is always covered with three material coverings: Vaikarika, Taijasa, and Tamasa. Because of these three modes of material nature, he always associates with the external energy and egotism itself. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1088.3, text 313. Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is situated beyond the range of material nature. Therefore, he is the Supreme Transcendental Person. He can see everything, inside and out, inside and outside. Therefore, he is the Supreme Overseer of all living entities. If someone takes shelter at his lotus feet and worships him, he also attains a transcendental position. Okay, I got my folio book back on the computer. Purport. This is also a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1088, 5, text 314. For the maintenance of the universe, Lord Krishna descends as his personal, plenary in expansion in the form of Vishnu. And I have my program working. I feel more comfortable writing, because this has all the Madhya 20. Oops. Madhya 20, 312. What are we on now? 313, 314?
314.
314. Yes. For the maintenance of the universe, Lord Krishna descends as his personal plenary expansion in the form of Vishnu. He is the director of the mode of goodness. Therefore, he is transcendental to the material energy. Lord Vishnu is in the category of Shvangsa because he has opulences almost equal to Krishna's. Krishna is the original person, and Lord Vishnu is his personal expansion. This is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. Purport. Although an incarnation of the material energy, Lord Brahma is nonetheless the director of the material mode of passion. Similarly, Lord Shiva, although simultaneously one with and different from Lord Krishna, is still the incarnation of the mode of darkness. However, Lord Vishnu is Krishna's personal expansion. Therefore, he is the director of the mode of goodness and is always transcendentally situated beyond the jurisdiction of the modes of material nature. Lord Vishnu is the original personal expansion of Krishna, and Krishna is the original source of all incarnations. As far as power is concerned, Lord Vishnu is as powerful as Lord Krishna because he possesses all the opulences. Text 16. When the flame of one candle is expanded to another candle and placed in a different position, it burns separately, and its illumination is as powerful as the original candles. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, expands himself in different forms as Vishnu, who is equally luminous, powerful, and opulent. Let me worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda. Purport. This is a quotation from the Brahma Samhita 546. Text 318. The conclusion is that Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are simply devotee incarnations who carry out orders. However, Lord Vishnu, the maintainer, is the personal feature of Lord Krishna. Text 318. Lord Brahma said, I am engaged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to create. Following his orders, Lord Shiva dissolves everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his form as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, maintains all the affairs of material nature. Thus, the supreme controller of the three modes of material nature is Lord Vishnu. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.6.32. Lord Brahma gave this information to Devarshi Narada when he was receiving instructions from Lord Brahma to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma. After describing the universal form of the Lord, Lord Brahma explained that his position and Lord Shiva's position are controlled by Lord Vishnu. Text 319. O Sanätana, Now just hear about the incarnations associated with the reign of each Manu, Manvantara, avatars. They are unlimited and no one can count them. Just hear of their source. Text 320. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 changes of Manus, and during the reign of each of those 14 Manus, an incarnation is manifested by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. From this verse it can be calculated that in 1 month, 30 days of Brahma's life, there are 420 Manvantara avatars. And in 1 year, 360 days of his life, there are 5,040 Manvantara incarnations. Thus, for the 100 years of Brahma's life, there is a total of 504,000 Manvantara avatars. In addition, the Manus themselves are considered partial incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 321. There are 14 Manvantaras in 1 day of Brahma, 420 in 1 month, and 5,040 in 1 year. 322. During the 100 years of Brahma's life, there are 504,000 Manvantara avatars. The number of Manvantara avatars for only one universe has been given. One can only imagine how many Manvantara avatars exist in the innumerable universes. And all these universes and Brahmas exist only during one exhalation of Mahavishnu. Text 324. There is no limit to the exhalations of Mahavishnu. Just see how impossible it is to speak or write of only of the Manvantaras, Manvantara avatars. 325. In the Swayambhuva Manvantara, the next time somebody says that he's God, you can compare him to this description. In the Swayambhuva Manvantara, the avatara is named Yagya. In the Svarochisa Manvantara, he is named Vibhu. In the Autama Manvantara, he is named Satyasena. In the Tamasa Manvantara, he is named Hari. 326. In the Raivata Manvantara, the avatara is named Vaikunta. And in the Chakshusha Manvantara, he is named Ajita. In the Vaivaswata Manvantara, that's our Manvantara, he is named Vamana. And in the Sarvarnya Manvantara, he is named Sarvabhauma. In the Daksha Suvarnya Manvantara, he is named Rishab. 327. In the Brahma Sarvanya Manvantara, the avatara is named Vishwaksena. And in the Dharma Sarvanya, he is named Dharmasetu. In the Rudra Sarvanya, he is named Sudama. And in the Deva Sarvanya, he is named Yogeshwar. 328. In the Indra Sarvanya Manvantara, the avatara is named Brihadbanu. These are the names of the 14 avatars in the 14 Manvantaras. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his Anubhasha gives a list of Manus and their fathers' names. 1. Swayambhuva Manu, the son of Lord Brahma. 2. Swarochisha, the son of Saruchis or Agni, the predominating deity of fire. 3. Uttama, the son of King Priyavrata. 4. Tamasa, the brother of Uttama. 5. Raivata, the twin brother of Tamasa. 6. Chakshusha, the son of the demigod Chakshus. 7. Vivaswata, the son of Vivaswan, the sun god, whose name is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 4.1. 8. Savarni, a son born to the sun god, and his wife Chaya. 9. Daksha Sarvani, the son of the demigod Varuna. 10. Brahma Sarvarni, the son of Upashloka. 11 to 14. Rudra Sarvarni, Dharma Sarvarni, Deva Sarvarni, and Indra Sarvarni, the sons of Rudra, Ruchi, Satyasaha, and Bhuti, respectively. Text 329. O Sanatan, now hear from me about the Yuga avatars, the incarnations for the millenniums. First of all, there are 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. 330. In the 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali, the Lord incarnates in 4 colors: white, red, black, and yellow, respectively. These are the orders, the colors of the incarnations in different millenniums. 331. 331. This child formerly had 3 colors, according to the prescribed color for different millenniums. Formerly he was white, red, and yellow, and now he has assumed a blackish color. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.8.13 was spoken by Gargamuni when performing the name-giving ceremony for Krishna at the house of Nanda Maharaj. The following 2 verses are also from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.21 and 24. Text 332. In Satya Yuga, the Lord appeared in a body colored white, with 4 arms and matted hair. He wore tree bark and wore a black antelope skin. He wore a sacred thread and a garland of Rudraksha beads. He carried a rod and a water pot, and he was a brahmachari. Text 333. In Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared in a body that had a reddish hue and 4 arms. There were 3 distinctive lines on his abdomen, and his hair was golden. His form manifested the Vedic knowledge, and he bore the symbols of a sacrificial spoon, ladle, and so on. Text 334. As the white incarnation, the Lord taught religion and meditation. He offered benedictions to Kardama Muni, and in this way he showed his causeless mercy. Purport. Kardama Muni was one of the Prajapatis. He married Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, and their son was Kapiladev. The Supreme Lord was very pleased with Kardama Muni's austerities, and he appeared before Kardama Muni in a whitish body. This happened in the Satya Yuga millennium, when people were accustomed to practicing meditation. 335. In Satya Yuga, the people were generally advanced in spiritual knowledge and could meditate upon Krishna very easily. The people's occupational duty in Treta Yuga was to perform great sacrifices. This was induced by the personality of Godhead in his reddish incarnation. Text 336. In Dwapara Yuga, the people's occupational duty was to worship the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, Lord Krishna, appearing in a blackish body, personally induced people to worship him. 337. In Dwapara Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow, he holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with the Kaustuba jewel and the mark of Srivats. This is how his symptoms are described. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.27. The Shama color is not exactly blackish. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur compares it to the color of the Atasi flower. It is not that Lord Krishna himself appears in a blackish color in all the Dwapara Yugas. In other Dwapara Yugas, previous to Lord Krishna's appearance, the Supreme Lord appeared in a greenish body by his own personal expansion. This is mentioned in the Vishnu Purana, Harivangsha, and Mahabharata. Text 338. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded as Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Prajumna, and Aniruddha. Purport. This is a prayer from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.29, spoken by Karabhajan Muni when he was questioned by Maharaj Nimi, the king of Videha, about the incarnations in specific yugas and their method of worship. Karabhajan Muni was one of the 9 yogendras, and he met the king to inform him about future incarnations. 339. By this mantra, the people worship Lord Krishna in Dwapara Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the occupational duty of the people is to chant congregationally the holy name of Krishna. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.3.51, Kaler doshadine rajan astiyeko mahan gunaha kirtanad eva krishnasya muktasanga padam brajet. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. It is simply that by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Thus, in Kali Yuga, one worships Lord Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To propagate this movement, Lord Krishna personally appeared as Lord Sri Chaitanya, Mahäprabhu. That is described in the following verse. Pita Varna Dhari Tabi Koila Pravartana Prema Bhakti Dila Loki Laya Bhakta Gana. In the age of Kali, Lord Krishna assumes a golden color and, accompanied by his personal devotees, introduces Harinama Sankirtana, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. By this process, he delivers love for Krishna to the general populace. 341. Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, personally introduces the occupational duty of the age of Kali. He personally chants and dances in ecstatic love, and thus the entire world chants congregationally. 342. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayaya Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:5-32. See also Madhya-lila, chapter 3, text 52. 343. In the other three yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dwapara, people perform different types of spiritual activities. Whatever results they achieve in that way, they can achieve in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Text 344. Kaler dosha ride rajan asti yeko mahan gunaha kirtanad eva krishnasya muktasanga padam brajet. See how important this verse is. It's repeated many times both in verses and in the purports. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. It is that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. As mentioned above, this verse is Srimad Bhagavatam 12:3-51. Text 345. Krite yad jayato vishnum tritayam yajato makahi dvapare paricharya yam kalo tad darikirtanat. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can also be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Purport. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 12:3-52. At the present moment in Kali Yuga, there are many false meditators who concoct some imaginary form and try to meditate upon it. It has become fashionable to meditate, but people know nothing about the object of meditation. That is explained here. Yad jayato Vishnum. One has to meditate upon Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna without referring to the Shastras. So-called meditators aim at impersonal objects. Lord Krishna has condemned them in the Bhagavad Gita 12:5. Klesho dikatadas tesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukam dehavadbir avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Not knowing how to meditate, foolish people simply suffer, and there is no benefit derived from their spiritual activities. The same idea expressed in this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam can be found in the following verse from the Vishnu Purana 6:2-17, Padma Purana, Uttarakanda 72:25, and Brihan Naradiya Purana 38:97. Jayam krite yajan jagyais tritayam dwaparer chayan yadapnoti tadapnoti Kalo Sankirtya Keshavam. Purport. Translation. Whatever is achieved by meditation in Satya Yuga, by the performance of yajna in Treta Yuga, or by the worship of Lord Krishna's feet in Dwapara Yuga, is also obtained in the age of Kali simply by chanting the glories of Lord Keshava. 347. Those who are advanced and highly qualified and are interested in the essence of life know the good qualities of Kali Yuga. Such people worship the age of Kali because in this age one can advance in spiritual knowledge and attain life's goal simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.36, spoken by the great sage Karabhajan Rishi, one of the 9 Yogendras. The sage was informing Maharaj Nimi about the people's duty to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to different processes in different yugas. 348. As stated before, when I described the incarnations of the material modes, guna avatars, one should consider that these incarnations are also unlimited and that no one can count them. 350. Thus, I have given a description of the incarnations of the 4 different yugas. After hearing all this, Sanatana Gosvämi gave an indirect hint to the Lord. It's a good stopping place. So we'll stop here for tonight after hearing all the blissful types of incarnations that Krishna appears in this world, and how it is that Krishna is the original, and how it is that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, not an incarnation, not an expansion. He is Swayam Bhagavan, the exact same person as Krishna, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani, which makes him the most special form of all. Hare Krishna. So, okay, we have any reflections or comments or discussions?
Sudevi Dasi says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Haribol Sudevi Dasi.
To Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
Saloni Sachi Sundari says, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Sulani Suchi Sundari. Hare Krishna.
All glories to you. Very wonderful to be with Sadhu Sangha and pure Vaishnavas to listen to the daily nectar of Caitanya-caritämrta. From Noel. Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj.
From who?
Noel. Noel.
Noel.
Noel.
Noel. Bhakti Noel. Bhakti Noel.
And Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj, happy to see you again.
Well, Hare Krishna, Rati. Haribol, thank you.
Gopakanya Devi Dasi says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
And can't remember, Stella Herzig.
Yes, that's Shradandali.
She says, Haribol, thank you.
Haribol, thank you, Shradandali. Nice to hear you. And have a nice holiday with your children. Thank you very much, everyone, for for your, what's the word? Sensitivity, and yes, Sri Chaitanya.
Rati Manjari is about to post her question from yesterday.
Yes. We will let you get in the last word, Rati. I was hoping that you would ask a question.
She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances. I have a question. Tonight we heard that Lord Shiva is greater than Lord Brahma, but that he is not as great as Lord Vishnu because he is in contact with Maya. I think I can understand this point, but I do not understand why Srila Prabhupada writes that Lord Shiva is a product of Maya. These two statements do not seem to be equal in my little brain. Could you please elaborate on this?
Well, Lord Shiva is he contacts Maya, whereas Lord Vishnu doesn't directly ever contact Maya. But Lord Shiva, he has sexual intercourse with Prakriti, the form of Prakriti, Durga, and injects all of the living entities into the womb of material nature. And in that way, he is in control of the material nature. So now just think about this for a second. You have to use your common sense. The Purusha, the male, is considered to be dominant, and Prakriti, the female, is considered to be subordinate. So in that sense, Lord Shiva is considered to be the controller of the material nature. But now just think, sometimes the wife is called the better half of the husband. And the reason she's called the better half of the husband is that she controls him by her feminine qualities. So in this way, the Lord Shiva is also controlled by material nature. Both things are true at the same time. Hare Krishna.
Rati Manjari writes, and tonight we also heard that Shiva as well as Brahma are devotee incarnations.
Yes. Correct. Because they are not Vishnu Tattva. One is Shiva Tattva and the other is Jiva Tattva. But sometimes, very rarely, there's no Jiva who's qualified to take that position, and you can well imagine why, because it's such a great position. Then Lord Vishnu expands and actually becomes Lord Brahma. That happens also. So you may run across a statement like that in one of the Puranas or one of the Vedas, and you may think this is contradictory. It's not contradictory. There are no contradictions in the Vedas. They just have to be understood properly. That's why we need Mahajano, Yenagata, Sapanta. That's why we need the Caitanya-caritämrta, because it puts all these thoughts together and explains them very nicely. And then Prabhupada, in his purports and in his teachings, they're vast. They're vast. And in order to actually understand properly, you have to be familiar, at least, with the body of information. You may not remember it, you may not be a scholar, no need to be a scholar, but you have to hear, you have to hear these scriptures again and again in order to get a grasp of the totality or the overview or the body of knowledge. And then you can contextualize and understand all these seeming contradictions that actually make, even common sense, once one puts the pieces together under the guidance of someone who understands them. And as we do that, our vision changes. Our vision of the world becomes more complete and more specific. Realizations are more specific. And yes, and then you can write transcendental literatures. Hare Krishna.
She says, so it seems that there are different points being made at the same time. Thank you for your explanation.
There are always different points being made at the same time. Hare Krishna.
From Yadutama.
Yes, Yadutama.
He says, Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Prabhupada. Hearing those verses from the Bhagavatam towards the end of tonight's reading in the context of the CC is just amazing. Thank you for reading to us, Gurudev.
The pleasure is all mine. Well, I won't say all mine because it's pleasurable to you too, but yeah, there's no pleasure quite like reading out loud to other interested devotees of like mind the Caitanya-caritämrta. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahäprabhu ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees who relish hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. See you tomorrow night, same station, same time, same place, same subject matter. Pure, transcendental happiness. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.